Hello everyone, I'm Pax Salinas. Welcome to my next video for the 49ers 2023 season, as I always call Faithful Fables. And frankly, I am out of things to talk about with this team in terms of giving so many accolades as to how good they've been, because I've watched a bunch of videos now and all the pundits saying about how good they've been, and truthfully they have been, so I think they've taken away everything I could possibly mention. I mean, I'm still going to go over this game here and talk a little bit more about what the team has been doing. I think everyone, though, has seen what this team has been doing, and Sunday night was, I think, just a statement of where this team currently is at. Everyone had week 5 scheduled, expectedly. Why not? It's Dallas, it's San Francisco, two teams that were in the past history for the past 2 years in the playoffs. Niners won both times. Of course, Dallas wants to get revenge. Why not? Well, they came to Santa Clara, and I don't know what you want to call it, an obliteration, decimation, a teardown, whatever you want to call it. Dallas came, and the result, 42-10 for San Francisco. And this was against a team that supposedly had, a top 2 defense, I think most people were saying. At least a top 5, if not top 2, I think. If we look at the stats, it was a top 2 in a lot of categories, even 1 in some categories. And the Niners just completely took the game over. It really took no time. Dallas deferred. Okay, let's go ahead and give San Francisco the ball first. So what does the offense do? Well, anything they pretty much wanted to. Not to say Dallas didn't make a few stops. There are a few drives that ended in a punt. You had a speed bump there where Christian McCaffrey got a fumble. Or not got a fumble, but had a fumble. And that fumble occurred at the 1 yard line where he was probably going in for a touchdown because he was bowling over a Dallas defender. So let's take a look at this, though. You have a pretty quiet game from Ayuk. 4 receptions, 58 yards. Even Debo, 3 receptions, 55 yards. You even have a quiet game from McCaffrey on the running game here. And Christian McCaffrey, of course, has been playing phenomenal. He's the only non-quarterback up in MVP discussion right now. 19 carries, 51 yards. It's only averaging 2.68 yards a carry. He still gets a touchdown, though. 14-game streak now of getting a touchdown. He broke Jerry Rice's record a game ago, and he could very well end up getting the NFL record for most games in a row with a touchdown. So you have 3 pedestrian days from those guys. So how do you win this game? Well, how about, let's see here. Brock Purdy going 17 for 24, 252 yards and 4 touchdowns. Mind you, Brock he's played, 2/3 of an actual regular season, 10 starts, 11 starts, I think, maybe 10 or 11 starts. Had to fill in for Garoppolo back in December when he got a broken foot. And with Brock Purdy, I get it at the beginning, even as a diehard 49ers fan. At the beginning, okay, the game against the Dolphins when he came in last year, you could say the team just rallied around him and wanted him to win. Then he beats Tampa Bay 35-7, becomes the only rookie to beat Tom Brady. Granted, I get it. Maybe Tampa wasn't the best team last year, even though they won their division. I mean, the NFC South was pretty bad, but he goes in there and does that. The Niners just don't lose a game with him under center. The team puts up more points, and the only thing that stopped him was getting a UCL tear, which he has now come back from and looks even better when people were worried how his arm was going to be. I don't see any sign of him slowing down. He got better actually now, and in 5 starts through here, he has absolutely just been carving up defenses. He has been commanding this offense in a way I have not seen probably since, I don't know, I guess you might have to go back to Steve Young, because no offense to Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick, or anyone else that's helmed this offense since that, even Jeff Garcia, no offense to him either. You probably haven't seen a quarterback really do this since Steve Young. So 4 touchdowns in this game. He ends up going from 5 on the year to now 9 in 1 game, mind you. And I think at this point now, I mean, he's jumped up to high up there in the MVP rankings now. Whether he gets it or not, it doesn't really matter to me. It'd be cool if he does. Right now, he is helping this team to new heights I didn't think was possible and it's probably been the best team. If you're an older 49ers fan, please let me know. I'm guessing this might be looking like the best team since 1994 when they won a Super Bowl. That was a Steve Young-led team. Since I've been around and since I've been able to watch football and actually remember it, it's the best I've seen from a quarterback pretty much. I got to see some of Steve Young's later years, and I've seen everything since then. Brock right now to me has just fulfilled everything you could, especially as the last pick of the draft. I don't know much more to say about him. It's been phenomenal. So 4 touchdowns. Who do they go to? Well, when you don't have Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel doing things, George Kittle steps up and has a game. He gets 3 receptions for 67 yards. 3 of them, well, he only caught 3. All 3 of them went for touchdowns. And this just goes to show that the level Kittle is now at since Brock has come in too. Not to say he didn't have chemistry with Jimmy, but Kittle has been a lot more active now in this offense since Brock joined it. And I mean, the best play of the night I think was the double flea flicker. Shanahan was probably watching the Lions game earlier that day and said, we could do that too. I know it's been in their playbook, and everyone's saying they stole the play, whatever. Hey, it's been a play for how many years in football? So hey, Shanahan probably looked at that Detroit game and they'll go, yeah, we could probably do that, and did it. Oh, by the way, that was, the touchdown of George Kittle. It was a two-play drive. 38 yards after a punt with a decent return. Stuff like that. But George Kittle, like I said, 67 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, he was the top receiver for the day. It just didn't matter. Everything worked. It worked so well that that by the 4th quarter, even by the 3rd actually, you started having Mason take place of McCaffrey, and then they were making sure McCaffrey wasn't too overloaded this game, especially once the games really started to get out of hand in the Niners' favor. You start seeing Mason up there. Mason performed admirably. I mean, we're talking better than McCaffrey here and what he was able to do. He only did 10 carries. McCaffrey did 19, so 9 less. Picked up 18 more yards than McCaffrey. He averaged 6.9 yards a carry, and he even got a touchdown. And now Mason's a different runner than McCaffrey. He kind of more is just up the middle, will bowl someone over when he can just to pick up some rough yards. But when he's scoring there. Kyle Juszczyk got a receiving touchdown, and that's not a knock to Juszczyk there because he's fantastic. But 4 receptions, 26 yards, and touchdown for him. When the fullback is getting involved like that, and he nearly had a touchdown earlier, actually. I think towards the end of the 3rd quarter, that's where we got the touchdown at the beginning of the 4th there. Even he nearly got into the end zone earlier in that game. The Niners offense was able to put up 421 yards compared to 197 from Dallas. So defensively, okay, Dallas had 1 touchdown and they had a field goal. That was it. Dallas didn't look special in any other way, shape, or form whatsoever. Burks, Gibson, and Warner, 1 interception each. Fred Warner, it doesn't count on the stat sheet for him here, but maybe it does. I think he caused it. He didn't recover it, but he caused the fumble there, and I believe in the 2nd quarter, the guy was all over the place. This defense absolutely made the Dallas offense look like they didn't know what they were doing. Dak had deer in the headlights moments quite a bit. I mean, Fred Warner even chases him down at one point when Dak's trying to scramble out, jumps up in front of him, it ends up getting the sack afterwards too. We're talking, mind you now, going back to the offense here. Actually, no, before we get there, we'll talk about the end of the 3rd quarter going into the 4th. We're talking here, Dak's 3 interceptions. Mind you, here's how it went out. Towards the end of the 3rd quarter, well, maybe halfway point of the 3rd quarter, 4-play drive results in interception. Niners touchdown. That's the one that carried over into the 4th quarter there. 3-play drive, interception. Niners respond with another touchdown. Later on again, another 4-play drive from Dallas, another interception. At that point, though, that was where the game was just totally out of reach for Dallas. So much so that in the fourth quarter, and this is the stuff that really makes my eyes go crazy at seeing some of these stats right here. We're talking that with 14 minutes to go in the game, in the fourth quarter, time-wise, San Francisco had all their second stringers out on the field. I had trouble recognizing some of the names of the guys on the field because I never seen them play. Or if I have, it's been in relief. I couldn't recognize any of the linemen. I recognized some of the receivers. Ronnie Bell, Ray McLeod was up there at that point. You saw a little more Jennings at that there. Then Mason gets his touchdown. And then even Mason's not playing anymore. We're talking later on, Davis Price goes in to finish off the game on their third string running back. Now, Dallas had their second stringers at that point too because they realized the game was just out of reach. This game was absolutely a statement. And it was a statement. It had to be a statement game for either team. And this was a game where, okay, it was going to be a measuring stick as to who stands where. The 49ers, leaps and bounds, were ahead of Dallas. Where can this team go from here? I mean, you have people talking, can this team be an undefeated team and all that? I mean, if they played every game like this, yeah, they probably could. I think they could. I'm going to be realistic. I don't see them doing that. I expect this team 3 to 4 losses maybe this season. Could be some trap games in there. And going perfect would be, of course, amazing. Let's be real, a very long shot with the way the NFL is nowadays. Other than that, though, it's the 49ers now are going into Cleveland this upcoming week. Cleveland has a pretty darn good defense. You can't deny that. And they're traveling to the Eastern time zone now. A lot of times they tend to have some trouble there. But they won week 1 in Pittsburgh going out to the Eastern time zone there. So, of course, they can beat any team here that they're going to be going up against. It does not matter. I look at the whole schedule. Yes, there are some tough matchups. Of course, the Eagles, 2 Seahawks games. You got the Bengals in a few weeks who are starting to look a little bit better. The Ravens, which is, I think, Christmas night. And at that point, they might be not injured anymore. So you have to worry about that possibility that they're going to be back to a lot more, to maybe not full strength, but higher back in terms of their personnel core. So there's no easy, after the bye, easier matchups are going to be tough to come by, really. But there is not a single team left on the schedule that I can outright go, they scare me. The Eagles, even the Eagles don't really necessarily scare me. It's going to be a tough matchup. Fully expect a tough matchup. Fully expect it. If the Eagles were to win that game, I can get it. If the Seahawks win a game from that, I can get it. The Rams are the last game of the season, I believe, and with Cooper Kupp back and Nakua playing the way, yeah, they might be able to win one. But as of right now, I just don't see how this team really has any downside to it. I guess maybe the biggest downside I can say is that the defense up until this week kind of had a bend don't break kind of situation where the door was open for some of those teams, the Cardinals, the Rams, even the Giants for a little bit there, and of course then they just shut the door in the third quarter. Here the door was never opened in the first place in this game. But I wish they played every other game like they did this past Sunday. If they continue this, I mean, at this point it is a Super Bowl or bust team, and it's not just Super Bowl appearance; it's a Super Bowl win. I think all of us had that expectation now going into this season, especially with how they finished a 10-game winning streak to finish the season last year, and up until Brock getting his injury in the Eagles game. I mean, Super Bowl aspirations, I think, were there last year. But this year now, the team is going to be facing a salary crunch here coming up soon. You can't keep all these guys around with everything. Brock being on a rookie contract has certainly helped them out here for this situation. But with the talent level you have here, it has to be a win now. Of course, I mean, I'll just take one. I don't even care if at that point they fall into a Rams situation. Well, I might a little bit, where they end up being a little down after winning a Super Bowl. This team right now, it is Super Bowl aspirations, win or it's a bust of a season. I know that may seem lofty for the team, but that's where it's at. Other than that, I look forward to seeing how they're going to do this Sunday After that, it's Monday Night Football against the Vikings. Then they get their, then they go into their, no, actually, no. Then they go Cincinnati, then they go into their bye. So it's 3 games against opponents where I don't care what their record is. You don't take an opponent for granted, period. This team, though, I mean, if they can keep finding another level, if there is another level for this team, if there is, I honestly couldn't fathom what the next level would be for this team. But safe to say right now, for as long as I've been a fan, as long as I've been watching football and can remember it, I know it's only 5 weeks in. If this team stays at full health, maybe minus a guy here or there for a couple weeks, I can say in the years of me being an Niner fan, this is the best team I've seen them put out on the field that I can remember. And I know, once again, 94 team with Steve Young, I was alive for that. Couldn't remember that. A little too young when they won that Super Bowl there. But this team easily surpasses any Harbaugh team. As much as those Harbaugh teams were great, I think it easily surpasses the 2019 team, even when they started the season 8-0 and lost to that Super Bowl there. And this team is just a continuation of what started last year. So we'll look to see where it goes from there. And I look forward to having a very, very happy season still. So until next week, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.